Welcome everybody to the Room250 podcast.
One tiny pixel at a time.
We all have a room 250. It's that room where creativity happens.
Look it up.
Welcome back everybody to the Room250 podcast, where creatives sit down, have a conversation, and hopefully inspire current and future designers to crush their creative goals one pixel at a time. I'm one of three hosts, Arturo Pete Peralta, former art director of Vegas Prime Magazine, and I am joined by my two best friends, Martin Erosoy Bautista and David Patrick Sly. What's up, gentlemen?
What's up? How's it
What
going?
up, dog?
Don't forget to follow us on Instagram. Follow us on YouTube. Like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. Interact with all of our posts. It really helps us with the engagement.
Yeah, and for those of you that don't know what Room 250 is about, Room 250 is that room that you go to when you're trying to get creative and you want to do something, and you go into your room and you sketch your shit out and you come up with something dope. That's what Room 250 is about.
It's your
It's also where you
creative zone.
connect with your friends.
Exactly. Yeah. Awesome. All right. So it's been a minute. We haven't recorded in a couple of weeks. And, today's topic or tonight's topic, let's see.
Relatable.
How do we run into it? Oh, I know.
Very
Okay.
fucking
Hashtag
relatable right
So-
now with everybody across the country.
What do you do when you get fired? You go to the bar, you pour yourself a shot, and bam, you drink it. So on that note, what's everybody drinking tonight?
Ugh.
Martin, I'll let you go
What you got,
first.
Sly?
Oh, okay.
So I
okay.
got 2 drinks. Go ahead, Sly. Go.
He just said, I'll let you slide, then he keeps talking.
I got a ruby grapefruit White Claw. Did it focus?
Okay, you and the White Claws. White Claw.
I gotta keep this girlish figure.
So I went to the liquor store and I bought 2 different beers.
Okay, craft beer?
Fat
Fat
Tire.
Tire. Mm-hmm. They're
Fat
good
Tire.
brand.
The design
Good
for
stuff.
this is fucking dope. That's what
What
caught
is
me
it?
like the blue.
Put
Fat
it in front of your
Tire,
face.
Yeah, put it in the camera. I can't
In
really
front of
see
your,
it.
not in front. Jesus Christ!
Oh, nice.
It's
Okay,
in
I
there.
like that.
Bro,
Looks good.
The design's fucking
Looks
dope.
cool.
It's blue. The box was awesome. And then I also found this one from
Maui Pineapple.
Nice.
yeah, pineapple.
Ooh.
Love pineapple. It's really good.
Maui
But I'm
Brewing
gonna go with the
Company.
Fat Tire first.
Fat Tire is actually, I mean, they've been around for quite some time, and they had, I think they had a Somersault beer, and I think that's where Somersault Letterpress got their name from. I could be completely wrong, honestly.
That looks like
The design is fucking dope. It's very minimalist and it has a
well,
little
it looks
bike
like
on there.
it looks
and
Japanese.
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah,
It's a Belgian
the red,
beer, though.
the Red Sun. Oh, I know it's a Belgian beer, but it looks like Red Sun with the that famous mountain. You know, the one everybody takes photos of with the.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
forgot
yeah,
the
yeah.
name of
Yeah,
it right
peak.
now. But I know what you're talking about.
Couldn't tell you what it is.
Well, cheers, gentlemen. Everyone listening and watching, cheers.
Cheers.
And again, if this is your first time listening, we are 3 designers in the industry. We've been doing this for a long time. And this podcast is about graphic design and everything that has to do with that medium. So if you are somehow mistaken that this is something else, we apologize, but I hope you're entertained. We had a little bit of a scenario in the last couple of weeks. Apparently there's a YouTuber named Danny Gonzalez, and they've been, some people have listened to the Danny Gonzalez episode from season 1, and they were just like, what the fuck is this? But one person actually really enjoyed our 3-hour podcast, thinking that Danny Gonzalez was going to come on at some point. But I mean, even the beginning of the episode, I say director, creative, or print director Danny Gonzalez. It's not like I said the YouTuber or anything like that. So,
Right.
in quotes, they put, I wasted my time on this, but I actually really enjoyed it. And I think they started following us. So
That's
thank
awesome.
you. If you're listening to us,
Awesome.
thank you.
Yeah, good shit.
But again, back to our tonight's topic. As a graphic designer, as an artist, what do you do when you get fired? You go back to the bar and you pour another drink. Yeah.
Cheers to that.
Or you light up?
No. If it's legal in your state, yeah, go ahead.
Legal in your state,
light
and
up.
it is legal
All right.
in all of our states right now.
Exactly. But let me paint you, everybody, a picture here. So I joined Vegas Prime Magazine in March of 2024. And I was super excited. I've never been in the publication space before. And the publisher took a little bit of a risk with me, never having done a magazine prior. You know, I've done ads like us three here have done multiple times. But I didn't know what it took to run a publication. And, you know, I hit the ground like sprinting and figured it out, stayed up late learning about it. And, you know, at the end of the day, it was a startup. And as of February 12th, we were getting ready to ship issue 22. It was done. It just needed to be proofed. That morning, I got called into the publisher's office, and he said, Pete, we are not going to send this issue to print today. And right there, I said, shit. Okay, it's over. Now, for the last 3-4 months, we had seen the writing on the wall. You know, to run a successful publication, you need to have ads. And, you know, it costs a lot of money to print a magazine. To give you guys a bit of background information, we ran about 100,000 copies every 2 weeks. Every time we ran that was about $30,000 for the printing alone, not covering distribution, salaries, and everything else that comes with that. So printing alone, you're looking at minimum $60,000 per month.
And what size was that again? That wasn't even a full 8.5 by 11, right?
Yeah, this is a digest size. Yeah, so I can't give you the specs right off the top of my head.
5 by 7 or something?
No, bigger than that.
A little bigger
than that. Yeah, like 8-ish, 5-ish. You know, I should know that. I was the art director, but
you have templates set up, you know, and once you get it all set up, then you're just running through it.
Exactly, you know,
because you're pushing them out every month, right?
Yeah, well, no, every other week. I'm pushing them out. Yeah, every other week I'm pushing them out, you know. Hey, bro, when I go to the gym, I put 2 plates on there. I don't even think about it as 45. I just know I can push the shit out. So same mentality with the publication.
Same, and 2 plates.
You know, it's
like 2 plates on each side or 2 plates?
Yeah, 2 plates on each side.
On one 2 plates
side.
Of food. 2 plates of food,
bro.
Yeah,
I'm part
like
of the
225
club.
And then 2.
No, like shoot.
Shit.
2 here, 2 here. Boom, 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 boom.
Okay. I think I can hit that. I think I can hit that now.
Yeah, me too.
Good. And you know, it's you know, okay, so if we do the math, you know, $60,000 times the last year, you know, we printing alone, the publication spent roughly $650,000 on printing alone. And that's a lot. You know, that's a lot to ask of an investor, of a CEO, anyone that's doing anything in media. And my experience of talking to multiple people in media is that you're not going to make profit for the first year. It's always going to be a loss. So on a business perspective, I get it. It still sucks, you know, for the team. Now, we were a very small company. There was only 4 of us that were pushing out, literally a skeleton crew that was pushing out the magazine. So it sucks. It sucks to be this, you know, this much in your career. And that's what the thing too, whether you just first starting as a graphic designer or junior and, you know, you get let go, it's devastating. And it's also just as hurtful, you know, doing this 14 years later and it happens again, you know, it does suck and it stings. And especially because you know that you didn't do anything wrong. You know, if I would have fucked up or I did a big mistake, different situation, you know, in my mind, okay, I know where I messed up. But this being a second time of kind of like the company runs out of money scenario that I've been in, it just stings, you know, because granted, I've also was looking for a new job because I needed more income. You know, having kids is not cheap. But it still sucks, you know, especially right now, there's a lot of jobs that are being lost to AI. And, you know, I still think I have the chops for everything. Again, I had an interview yesterday, so I know I'll be fine. And through my connections, I was able to pick up a few freelance projects. So I'm staying afloat, but, you know, I still definitely want to have something full time, or at least
Yeah.
build my clientele to be a full time freelancer. In my 20s, that was fun. In my early 30s, it was cool. Now being a family man, a father, I don't really want to chase, clients.
Yeah.
Luckily, I've been blessed with leads that have just been given to me, and it's easy connections, and the work is super, super fun. And so I'm thankful for that. But it's like, what do you do now, right? As a graphic designer, art director in 2025, what do you do now to get back out there in the world? Like, how long does it take to get another job? And that's kind of what we're going to talk about today. So now I'm going to toss it over to Martin Erosoy Bautista to share his experience, even though his path was a little bit different than mine, and just to share on his, yeah, go ahead, bro.
So, I recently went on a trip to New Zealand. Shout out New Zealand, it was fucking dope.
Let's see the hat. Come in a little
Yeah,
closer.
he had to get a wee reduction.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's a cool hat, man.
You a Kiwi now?
Shout out to the Kiwis out there. I got to see one in the dark, but you can barely see them. They're fucking big, bro.
Oh, they're that big? I thought they were like
Yeah.
tiny.
No, they're like big, bro.
Wow.
Like a prairie dog? No, those are fucking tiny.
Prairie dogs.
Like
Small.
Probably like a fat dog, bro. Like a fat medium dog, but like
Like a
Like
bulldog?
a raccoon.
gordo.
like a bulldog?
Like a fat ass raccoon, bro. Imagine a fat raccoon that like ate a bunch of shit and he's just like fucking
To
plumped
you?
and shit.
Damn.
He drinks.
I'll drink to that.
And shout out to the rugby team. Yeah,
All Blacks.
All Blacks. There you go. I didn't want to say it wrong. I actually bought like a thing for my neck
A
for
jersey?
the airplane, and no, the donut for
Oh,
your
neck
neck
pillow.
when you're
Neck
neck
pillow?
pillow, and it had like All Blacks in there, and I didn't really like notice it till I got to here to the U.S. and I saw it, and I was like, oh shit, somebody might like take it the wrong way because I'm in America now, and so I flipped it around and I was like, all right, I'll hide it.
That's
But,
in your head, bro. No.
Yeah, I think that's in your head, man.
I don't know,
Yeah.
bro. I don't know. People are fucking
no,
sensitive
come
out
on.
here and shit.
Yeah, that too.
But
But
anyways.
no. Nah.
But anyways, we had a trip. New Zealand is fucking beautiful. It's amazing. My trip was amazing.
What was your favorite part?
my
What were
wife-
you doing out there?
My wife's family, there was somebody got married, so we went out there for a wedding. My wife is Indian, so their wedding was like 5 days. It was a lot.
Wow, that's cool.
I literally took like a dive into their culture, and I got to meet a lot of her family. Her aunt has she set up like 3 houses for in the same area so that the whole family could get together and interact every day. So I didn't know what I was like getting into, but I was like, whatever. I didn't really ask a lot of questions. When I think like a week before I was going out there, I asked my wife like, what's our like staying situation? What are we doing? And then she kind of like was like, oh, we're gonna get an Airbnb and the whole family's gonna be there. And I was like, oh, okay, like the whole family, like who? She's like, everyone. I'm like, oh. And I was
You're
like,
I know
fuck
this.
it,
I know how this goes.
I've
Right?
never met them either. I've never met any of her family at all. Different culture. Most of them spoke English, but they're completely different, and there's a language barrier. So at first it was kind of hard to understand. Even though people that live there in New Zealand, they have a certain accent that like it was kind of hard for me to pick up at first, but towards the end I could like definitely pick up on it and completely understand it.
Nice.
It was amazing. It was great. Like 5 days of different activities, and I had a great time.
Yeah,
and
I
then we
think
did
I
a lot
remember
of,
you saying that you walked around a lot, right? Like you were doing a lot of
we
walking
walked.
and hiking.
It's like, so we out here and we live in Las Vegas, and honestly, like it's fucking boring, bro, to just go out and be like, oh, I'm gonna go for a hike around my neighborhood. And it's all our houses are the same. They're like cookie cutter houses. Over there, every house is different. Every house looks like it was made differently from each other. It's just nice to look at. It's very lush and green, and it's not even hot. It was not even humid where we were at.
Is that all all the houses or just the area that you were in?
Well, I
that
don't
you're able to-
know.
you know, it's
The
like if you
area I
go to
was in,
Summerlin, you know, if we go to Summerlin, all the houses are different. You know, it's different than like where we live.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm
Or, like,
asking.
I don't know.
downtown.
I feel like a lot of houses in Vegas are cookie cutter, bro. Like a
Oh,
lot
yeah,
of
no,
them are the
definitely,
same. Unless
yeah.
you get out. If you get out where like the ranch areas, and then they're different and they're not as boring.
No,
like-
Before they actually expanded to the ranch areas, all the houses were like they could build whatever they wanted, essentially.
I mean, you look at like Alta area, like old school Vegas downtown. That
Mhm.
place is
Yeah,
fucking. That's all different. You know, or
Yeah.
like even by like Lone Mountain, or even around us, brothers. It just depends on the area. But yeah, I mean that's you know what happens in a big city. So
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but and then also here it's really really hot. So when in summertime, like you don't really want to go out
we
there.
are in a desert.
We are in the desert. I do love Vegas, though. Don't get me wrong. I love Red Rock. I love all of our outdoor stuff. Like that's what I love going out to do. It was just really nice to be kind of like it felt like you were in the environment. Everything was lush around you. Like you literally, I would get up and walk like 5 minutes, and there was trails. And there's trails everywhere, dude. Everywhere
awesome,
in every
bro.
neighborhood. And dude, you just like you guys saw my videos on Instagram. Like everything, it just felt like I was in a like super tropical place, and I really, really enjoyed it. So first week it was all wedding stuff. Second week we did a bunch of like day trips, and it was awesome. I got a little sick, so it was kind of annoying because I wouldn't get sick enough, but I didn't feel great, so my energy wasn't like way up there. We went to the Lord of the Rings set, and it was pretty
That was
dope. It
cool.
beautiful.
That was
Yeah.
really really rad. When you shared that on Instagram, that was pretty sick.
Yeah.
I was jealous when I saw that. I'm like, oh
Very
shit,
inspiring.
that's like
too.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fucking dope, but I felt like crap. I was like hella sick by that time. Not hella sick, but I was somewhat sick, and
You
I
think
was
it was
like,
jet
it's
lag?
hot. No, I somebody picked up a bug somewhere in the house because there was like 30 people, right? And a lot of people were traveled, so somebody
Well, yeah,
picked
you
up
travel.
a bug.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We picked up a
definitely.
bug, and it like spread through the whole family. Well, not through the whole family, to a few of us, but I'm grateful that I wasn't like sick enough to not be able to do stuff. But it was annoying that I was kind of sick, where I couldn't enjoy it to the fullest. Like that one trip that we were talking about, like it was a 3 hour thing, and I was like over it by like an hour and a half because I just didn't feel good. But overall, like it was great. We went to this other area where
Do
we
you have
were
diarrhea?
like driving cars. Nah, not diarrhea. It ain't Mexico,
Good.
bro.
Yeah,
The
'cause
water's
that always
clean.
that always ruins it, bro.
Yeah.
That always ruins it. You're
Yeah.
like, I don't know if I can make a hike, man. I can make a
Yeah.
10-minute hike.
I guess
is
I'm
about
staying
it.
in the house.
Dude, and like the portions over there, bro, are like not
the food like? Yeah.
American.
What's the
The
food
food
like?
was dude, LMP. It's called LMP. Like there's a soda that is like lemonade soda. LMP. Shout out to LMP, dude. Fuck, man, I fucking love that shit. It was so good. I was drinking that shit all the time, and it's not like super sweet. It's like very light.
Anything
so
you
that
could
was one of my
compare
favorite
to
things.
stateside? Like a poppy or something,
dude.
or
No, I just it was like a
Okay.
lemonade soda with
Nice.
some other
Okay.
like thing that they have out there. And then the food, the pizzas, man, a large pizza is like a medium-sized pizza over here. So we had to kind of get used to the portions because the portions were not American. They were like regular sized. We tried different, like we tried McDonald's, I tried KFC.
anything different from McDonald's?
Didn't really. I mean,
Like
the
nothing-
food
nothing was
tasted like
different, like-
slightly
Like anything different on the
but-
menu?
Yeah, they had
They had kiwis.
a kiwi burger, which was a burger
Did they really?
with
Nice.
yeah, they have a kiwi burger. It's not an actual kiwi, but they call it a kiwi burger.
Yeah,
I think
I was
it's
gonna
like
ask, can you eat a kiwi?
I don't know. They're endangered, bro.
You know, there's also
Yeah.
the fruit kiwi, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, dude,
That's what
that
I was
fruit
talking
that I
about.
told
I
you
wasn't
about.
talking
Yeah.
about the actual.
I was like,
Hey,
bro, I
man.
don't want to eat a kiwi. They're so cute. No.
Hey, dude, that's the whole point of like, well, not the whole point, but I like tasting different meat like that, you know?
Dude,
It's,
Yeah, I'm
it's-
sure
I
you
mean,
do.
if
berries.
it's-
I'm
it-
sure you do.
like not now. Okay, so when I see videos on Instagram of like the Indian market and people are cooking shit with their hands, I'm not gonna eat that shit. But you know, if it's made like home meal or a nice restaurant and it's like rattlesnake and rabbit. Like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna try it.
Yeah.
Sure, why not?
It's like
No,
going to
we
Peru
didn't,
and eating guinea pig.
You've
Yeah,
eaten guinea
no,
pig?
they didn't have any.
No,
weird
in Peru,
foods like that.
they eat guinea pig.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
they
the big
did.
ones, though, right? The big
Yeah,
ass
the
ones?
big ones.
Cuyos.
No,
Cuyos,
little-
right? They
little
call
tiny
them
ones, like-
cuyos.
they're like this big.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Martin eats culo, so that's
Nah, another cuyo, bro. Cuyo.
Zing after zing after zing.
Also, the one thing that
I'm
was
on fire
fucking
right
weird,
now.
bro. The thing that was fucking weird that I just did not like. I was like, what the fuck? Like, none of the fast food restaurants had ranch, and I didn't realize how much I like ranch. And I was like, fuck, there's no ranch anywhere. They just have
he likes white creamy stuff.
hey. I like ranch, man. Shit, I like
Dude,
my creamy
I'm gonna roll right
onion
now.
and shit.
See, this is
No,
why you
no,
go to the
just
bar
smoke,
and you have
man,
two
smoke.
shots.
Exactly. That's interesting, dude. So there's just no ranch on the island.
You could buy some off the store, but like McDonald's or KFC or any of the fast food restaurants, nobody has options for ranch.
Interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
My
You hear
favorite
that? You hear that, New
trip.
Zealand? Step your game up.
Get some ranch.
Get some ranch.
I don't know. Maybe
Us
they don't like
Americans
ranch over there.
like some ranch.
Yeah. Yeah, get some. Be a good host to us Americans.
That's cool, man.
But my favorite trip. I just took. This is the last one on that, but New Zealand. My favorite trip was this. They have these caves that have the glowworms in them, and like you go into like probably like 100 feet in, and like it's a big old like big ass caves, and then there's like sediment building new like areas, new rocks or new formations. So it was really really cool. And according to the New Zealand people, it's like it's sacred to them. So we weren't allowed to take any photography in there, which is kind of like a bummer, but completely understand when you mentioned this is a sacred area. This is where we do our rituals, so we're gonna treat it. He said that specific cave we went to, they don't do rituals there, but they treat it the same as all of them. So it was kind of nice, honestly, to not be able to have your film, because I was like, at first I was like, oh man, I'm not gonna be able to show the people, but then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna focus 100% on this shit. And then the guy was
be where
like,
your feet are, kind of thing.
Yeah.
yeah. And then the dude was like, because water drips, right? And that's how the formations in the cave form, because water comes in and then like drips down. So he's like, if water drops on you, it's good luck. So I got like, I think like one on my foot. And then we went in where the worms were at.
It
just
worked,
like-
then.
I was like, ah.
Yeah. I was gonna say part two of this conversation. That good luck didn't work.
Yeah.
Right?
Going into coming back home.
I think about that. That's hilarious.
Only
That
good.
shit
It's
didn't
only
work.
good. It's good luck on the island. It's good luck on the island. That's about it.
It's got
Goddamn
a
kiwis.
radius around it. Right?
You're like,
exactly.
oh, I don't know. You're American? That no shit. No good luck for Americans. Hell no. Get out of here. Go back to your country. But give me my luck.
It's like, remember that time you tripped? You could have broken your ankle, but your luck was
Right.
used for that.
But no, so it was really cool because like they take you into this area, and then the guy's like, oh, there's some glowworms right here, and he kind of shines the light on them, and he's like, they have little threads that like come down, and then little flies they get stuck to the threads, and that's how they eat. So when he shined the light, like this like little fly went up, and I like was able to see one of them get caught, and I was like, oh shit, that's fucking dope. And then later on, they take you into like the dark area, and you get into a boat, and the guy like takes you through probably like 100 feet of just darkness, and it just all the glowworms are up there, like it just looks like the fucking universe, and it's just
That's
super
cool.
awesome, and like the energy was like amazing, and I was just like in the zone next to my wife, we were holding hands, and like I wasn't asking for anything or anything, I was just in the moment and just sucking in all the energy, and then like at that moment like a drop like fell into both our hands, and like a lot of
that
shit
part's
to pack in there.
That
That was
part's cool.
fucking dope.
That's cool. That's
And
cool.
like the other
I
thing
believe
is
that's
that,
where your
like,
luck went right there.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
To your
So
family.
that's where like, yeah, we're like, that's why when part 2 doesn't really matter, but it does. Whatever.
No, it does.
Anyways.
It does. Yeah.
It
Yeah.
does, but I
Okay,
don't know.
so you have a great vacation. You get on
Great
the plane.
vacation.
You
Fucking
have
awesome.
diarrhea on
Super
the plane. No
spiritual.
problem.
Yeah.
Uh,
You come back,
You get back
you're feeling-
home. It's Sunday. You feel great. You're like, fuck it.
No, I don't feel great, bro. I came home and I was like hella sick, and I told my wife, nope, I'm gonna get some antibiotics. The plane ride was like 14 hours. I got no sleep, so it really wrecked me. So I get home and I'm sick, right? And I'm like,
the writing was
cool,
on the wall.
yeah. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna work from home. Like, I don't want to go into the office and get anybody sick. I don't know what I got. It wasn't that bad, but I was like, I'm just gonna work from home. And then Tuesday rolls in because I took Monday off. And then I'm like, I text the owner. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna work from home today because I still have a little residue from being sick. Blah 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 blah. Going to take a shower, and then power goes out here in my house. In our neighborhood, the power. I don't know, Pete, your power went out or not, but there's no power. So at work, we have meetings on Tuesdays, and I was like, fuck, man, I'm gonna have to go to work. I can't have a meeting with no power. So take my ass to work. And then right away when I got in, 30 minutes in, we usually have our meeting, but they postponed it. And then they called me into the office, and they pretty much eliminated my position, and they let me go. So 9 years I've been working on that place, and we lost a client a couple months ago, and they haven't been able to get another client to replace it. And that was a big client, and it made a lot of money for them, and they haven't been able to replace it. So they had already let go of one other person, one of our coordinators. So I was the next one, which I don't know how I feel about it. I have a lot of thoughts behind it.
Yeah, for people listening, this is very recent. This is like within
3 weeks
the
ago.
last 3 weeks.
Yeah, 3 weeks.
So,
yeah. I was let go February 12, I think. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I was let go on the 4th or something like that. So for me, this is a whole new experience where I've worked all my life since I was 15 and a half. I started working as a bagger at Smith's, and then I became a ride attendant at Stratosphere. And then the only time I ever had, I think I had 1 week off when I worked at the Stratosphere. I left, but they paid me 2 weeks, and I just had 1 week off, and then I became a front desk agent, and I worked since, and then worked at Trop and blah, 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 blah. So I've never been unemployed. I've never applied for unemployment. This is the first time. And it's kind of scary out there. So I have a lot of emotions going around. But at my core, I know it doesn't matter. What's his name from The Mask? That famous actor?
Jim Carrey?
Mm-hmm.
Shout out Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey says, the universe just provides. And Jim Carrey has this thing that he says that, he never really worries about shit because he knows that the universe will make things work out for him one way or another.
He's also a multimillionaire.
Yeah, but he
know,
wasn't.
They're just like us.
No, he wasn't a millionaire. Wait, was he a millionaire? I don't know his whole story.
He wrote a check to himself for $1 million, saying he told his father that one day he would be able to cash that check. He went to comedy club after comedy club after comedy club, trying to be famous. He slept in his car. He was homeless. He pretty much his entire livelihood was in his car, and then eventually he broke into acting, and then evolved, and then he was able to cash that check. After he struggled so many years in his career to finally pay that off. So, but now he's multimillionaire and has all this other shit, so he doesn't have to worry about money.
No, but that was
he understands the struggle. Yeah, he understands
the struggle. Yeah. So,
so when they told you,
go ahead.
When they told you, they brought you into the office, were you expecting anything hey, did you see the writing on the wall on this, or no? Was there months of this coming up, or was it for me, it was a knee-jerk reaction. Even though we saw the writings on the wall of, hey, we're not getting sales. And in advertising here in Las Vegas, January, February, March are very slow months. It's the beginning of the year. Nothing's really happening. March Madness now. Yeah, now we have tourists coming in.
It's usually also our coldest as well.
Yeah,
and so people tourists aren't coming here.
Yeah, same thing with summer. Summer is slow here because no one wants to be walking on the strip at 112, 125 degrees. Even at nighttime, you have all those people there, all the lights going on, all the cars going on. It's still
like 80,
very, very
no,
hot.
not even 80. It's like 90 degrees at night
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. So you're still sweating your ass off.
Mm-hmm.
But during the day, I mean, yeah, you go to the pool. If you're young, you're usually here and you're partying. You're at the beach club.
Yeah.
Me and Sly done that in the past. But did you see the
Many a
writing on the
times.
wall? Did you see the writing on the wall whatsoever, Martin?
Well, the way I saw it was, I don't know.
Like,
I
was
kind
there
of put a
any?
crosshair on myself. Like I put the crosshairs on myself because you guys knew that I wanted to leave that place. I was gonna leave already within the year, and
But you were
I
just
had
trying to manifest it, though. You weren't telling people
yeah,
that.
I
You were
did
like, "Hey,
it.
I'm
Well,
I want to leave."
yeah, but also too like you guys know my beliefs, and I feel like if you throw something out there to the universe, you have to like ask for it specifically because if you don't, then the universe just sets the wheels in motions, and you'll get what you want regardless. So I've done that a few times, and I did certain things that like I knew we weren't going to get raises, and I had asked for a raise, and the answer wasn't like, what I wanted. So right away, I was like, cool, I need to get out of here. I'm not moving anywhere. I'm already stale. I should have honestly left that place like 5 years ago, maybe four. But I didn't. And then I got my junior graphic designer, which kind of like, put fresh blood in me. And I got super excited about working with her and just mentoring her and teaching her. And she's great and she's amazing. And that's what kept me there these last 2 years because I was growing as a designer and, managing her and, working with her. It was really cool. Like we had a really good like dynamic and I do kind of miss that, but yeah, whatever. Yeah, after that conversation, the first thing I did, I removed everything from my office, all my shit that I had in there. I cleaned everything out. And again, that's just me putting it out to the universe. I'm telling the universe, like, okay, cool. This is it. Like, I got to go. There ain't nothing holding me back. There's no reason for me to stay here. There's no more growth. And the type of person I am, I'm easy to just be like, okay, cool, I'm comfortable. And that's why I needed to do this. So, when they say like, be careful what you wish for,
Yeah.
that's kind of what happened. But
So you packed up your desk. Did you also start working on your portfolio? Did you start working on your resume?
no,
Okay.
I didn't. I should have. Well, because in my mind, I was like, I'm packing all this shit up for my personal self, not to tell them anything. They did see it and they were like, whoa. And they had a conversation with me. And then they said that, like, oh, yeah, we'll work with you, blah, 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 blah.
So to kind of step back a little bit, the conversation that you had that led for you to, pack up your office obviously didn't go your way. And obviously we don't have to drop names or any of that stuff. So it didn't go your way. And that was just you, like, in your mind mentally preparing, like, hey, I need to leave this place? Or were you just pissed from the conversation and wanted just to hey, I'm fucking showing you that I'm for real. I'm going to bounce off this bitch.
Well, no, because when I had the conversation with the owner, like, she literally was like, you know what? Like, there's no more growth for you here. You should go somewhere else because you're pretty much saying, like, you're better than being here. And I was like, I took it to heart and I was like, damn, yeah, that's true. I need to go somewhere else where I could grow and learn and be a better designer and be able to, do better stuff. And that's when I was like, I already told myself I'm only going to be here for another year. And the best way to like push yourself to that is to declutter all your shit because I was nested in there. So I took all my stuff, I took it down and I just cleaned my office up. So I put a crosshair, on me. So if you think about it from
But there
like
was
a
no
business
ill will
owner, like
between you guys.
no, dude, our fucking like when I went into the meeting in there, I was like, they told me, and I was like, yeah, completely understand, I get it. Like we lost this big client, and I was like, I told Sherry, I love Sherry, they're awesome. Sherry and Tim are the best. I told them, and I was like, you know what? I'm not worried. Like this is my path, and this is the path I need to go on, and I know that my path is already set for me, and I'm not gonna doubt it. So like it was legit. Like Sherry started crying and she was like, "Oh, I'm gonna like miss you," and like this has nothing to do with you. It's just we don't have the money to, we can't afford you anymore because we lost a client and we haven't made it up. And I'm like, cool, I completely understand. I was like, it's awesome. So it was a good like breakup, I guess, or whatever you want to call it. The only thing that I was a little salty about is like I didn't get any severance, and I was there for like 9 years, so that did kind of sting. But a friend of mine told me a long time ago. My buddy Pete is bien perro, but he told me you're not a fucking dog. You don't have to be loyal. So that's after that, dude. That shit kept resonating in my head over and over and over. You're not a dog. Don't be loyal. And to designers that are out there in a place that are like super loyal to their employers, don't be loyal to them. Be loyal to yourself and your family and your friends, because when the shit hits the fan, boop, and then just don't be like that.
I mean, it's
So,
it's
9
just
years of
business
my
at the
life.
end of the day. Yeah, it's business for them at the end of the day. And
Transactional.
yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, there is
exactly.
friendships, but they have to keep their business afloat. And like they did in your meeting, there's no ill will, but they have to do what they have to do, regardless of how
Yeah.
it makes you feel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and for any junior, senior designers listening right now, art directors too, anybody that's in any kind of career, unless you own the company, it's business. You could be doing the best of jobs, and you can be loyal to the company, but if you don't own it or have some kind of stake in it, you can be replaced. Your position can be shut down. And that's the reality, not just in design. I mean, it's all across the board. So it sucks. It sucks to lose your job like that. Now, Martin, is this the first time as a designer that you've lost your job, right? Because you haven't gotten fired prior to this. Okay.
No, this is
this-
completely new to him. What he was
different.
saying from
Yeah.
earlier, yeah.
So the things that are new for me is being fired as a graphic designer, being without a job. I've never been without a job longer than a week. So it's a whole new experience, and like, my all over the place, bro. Like I'm like, I know myself too, though. Like I need to feel it. I'm human. I gotta go through.
Cheers, my bro. Cheers.
Cheers. I got to go through the emotions and I got to sort it out. I haven't really like faced them on yet. They're kind of in the back of my head. I'm just like, but I'm slowly like processing. But I don't want to get stuck either. It's kind of imposter syndrome. It's Pete's gone.
Oh,
Yeah,
Pete
no, I'm
dropped
good.
out for a second.
I'm wiping my nose.
Okay, mocos.
Yeah.
So
Get rid of
that
the
imposter
mocos.
syndrome, bro. That imposter syndrome is
Yep.
like legit, man. Like it hit me, and like now I remember what Sly was talking about when he got let go from his designer job a while back. Like, your brain all of a sudden is like, bro, like you're not good enough. Rah, 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 rah.
Yeah.
And I'm just gotta slap it a little bit, like, man, fuck
Okay,
outta here.
okay. Let me interrupt you right
Okay.
there.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
You are.
I was gonna
fucking
say,
good
yeah.
enough. You are fucking good enough. All right. I've been telling you for years to leave that place. Not because I love Colin. Sherry's amazing. I've worked with Sherry. You've taught me a handful of jobs throughout those time frames that you've been there, and I thank you very much for that. But no, you are good enough. All right. Because I've seen your skill set, and you know me, man. I give it to you straight.
Yeah,
Excuse
it's
me.
true.
If your shit sucks, I'll tell you, hey man, your shit sucks. Step your game up.
No, that's true.
But at the end of the day, it's a business. Now, for myself, this is, let's see, very early in my career, I got fired from All In Web Pro. I don't even know if they're around anymore. Let's see, because they weren't paying me enough, and I took
The house
on.
one, was that the house?
Yeah,
that was in the coffee
one.
bean.
With the house.
Yeah.
I interviewed there too, motherfucker. You took that job from me too, bitch.
And because I had like a side hustle when I would paint football fields, and I had to work the same day that I had to go paint that football field, And I'm like, okay, I can make $300 today, or just sit in the office and make money. I'm like, I'd rather go here and make that money right now because I got bills to
Yeah.
pay. So let's see, I got fired from that job. Technically, my position was closed at Tropicana, and yeah, I quit the agency. So yeah, we'll say this is my fourth time. We'll call it my fourth time being let go. It doesn't sting any less, honestly.
No, every
And
time
and
it's
and
the
it,
same.
and it stings most now in my career, not just because I'm a family man, but because I truly, truly, truly loved this job. This job was fucking dope for me, man. Like,
That's the worst.
I fucking leveled up, man. I leveled up so much in the media. If you're listening to this, if you go into publication design, magazine design, at least for me, how it was with mine, I can't speak for Sly, who does like much bigger media than I do, but at least in the magazine industry that I did, it was fast paced. It was full on creativity. Now, my publisher trusted me. He trusted me to say, hey, design the magazine how you see fit. This is a whole new thing. This is the Vegas market. This is a tourist sector. Our competitors are the Weekly, Las Vegas Magazine, Vital Vegas, Vegas.com, and a bunch of other ones, right, around town. And he said, do your thing. And I was able to build a publication from the ground up. Like, that to me is fucking dope. That's a big flex for me, is that not only did I do the logo, I came in and I saw the 50 plus logos that were presented to me from another senior designer. And I looked at them and they're like, we hate all of these. And within a week, I branded the magazine, right? Like, I came up and like, here's my logos, here's my shit, here's what we think. And they're like, bam, let's run with this one. And then I built the entire magazine. And every issue I tweaked. My first issue to my last issue, day and night, big time. I see the difference. But it was also like, okay, let's copy. I talked to my editor. Hey, let's do this. This fits this and all this other crap. So not only was the job awesome, not only was I creating like amazing layouts and working with freelancers, but I was also like flourishing as an art director because I was leading photo shoots. I was doing video shoots. I was helping stuff with social media. I was setting SOPs for my department. I was setting up myself for success, right? It's like, here's your budget per issue. Here's the shit that we got to shoot. I get to meet like, local celebrities, shoot the shit with them, go to restaurants, meet shit, like, hey bro, on a Tuesday, I'm at the Strip at a fine restaurant eating caviar with Pringles.
Yeah.
Like, how
And
badass
doing a
is
photo
that,
shoot.
man? Exactly. And doing a photo shoot and promoting my own social media. So I wasn't getting paid what I was worth there, but the perks that came from it was, right there. Like, to me, that's what I stung the most, I'll say. Again, doing this for 14 years and then something that I truly loved, and then boom, it's gone. Like, fuck, man, that sucks. No. And it also sucks too because, you come in and you compete against big dogs, and nothing against Las Vegas Weekly and Greenspun Media, nothing against them. But I was able to do stuff with our social media that made them kind of like step back and say, hey, we've been doing the same shit all these years. Now we want to start doing shit differently because X, Y, and Z. Because of me. Honestly, I'll say that. I'll have the balls to say that shit right now.
That's fucking dope, bro.
Las Vegas Magazine, the Weekly, and the Vital Vegas, once we came on board, and I'll say maybe 5-6 issues in, when I really started like cranking and tuning the magazine in, they started changing their shit. Las Vegas Magazine and the Weekly have never mocked up their magazine on any social post. It's always, here's the cover, and that's it. Right? Yeah. I started doing my shit with Vegas Prime. I started mocking different styles, stacks of fucking magazines, spreads, all this shit. And then all of a sudden, they were doing that too. And then the colors and the layouts and how they were treating their typography was changing. And I'm like, dude, this is awesome. Like, to me, it felt like friendly competition. I don't put any ill will towards Greenspun Media. I think they create an amazing magazine. Las Vegas Weekly is fucking dope. Las Vegas Magazine. The Weekly and Las Vegas Magazine are awesome. But even too with Vital Vegas, they started changing their format. They started changing how they were laying shit out, how they were using type. Um, the very first publication that I pushed out, I sent it to our former teacher, Paul Fens, and he was like, dude, the type on this is awesome. Like, tell me more about this shit. And I just kind of forgot to reply back to him. But, from hearing someone who's a creative director for Dogfish Head who complimented me on my first publication like that, I'm like, sweet, I'm doing something
You're doing it right, yeah.
Yeah.
Good shit, man.
But with it ending, it fucking sucks. It sucks is you're like, well, shit, man. I'm a family man now. I gotta file for unemployment again, and it is tough out there. It's been tough. I started my own shit in 2021, the very beginning of 2021. Just like most people, like most Americans, when COVID happened, your mentality changed. And you're like, hey, now is the time for me to do something different. And I decided to follow my heart on that time frame because at the time I didn't have any kids. I wasn't with anybody. So I'm like, hey, I could do my own shit. I only have me to risk, and that's all. Now as a family man, it's like, well, I'm the head of household. I need to have stable income. I need to provide. And luckily, my time in the Army, being employed, I was able to get VA benefits, so I can pay a lot of stuff. But it still sucks to lose, your 9 to 5, and especially when it's a job that you truly love. Like, that sucks. And I think that's one of the passions with you, Martin. And I could be wrong, completely wrong, that you did love Quillen, man. Like, you loved being there. You were able to bring your dog in there, which is awesome. Number one, like bringing your pet to work and no one like argues. That's awesome. Like that right there is the shit. And then, you get comfortable, but it's also a comfort that you know how to execute every aspect that comes your direction. Being a designer at a place for a long time, the ins and out of the company. When clients come in, you know how to pursue it. You know what shit that needs to be pushed out. You know how to communicate with all department heads. You know what the hell you're doing because you've been part of the company for so long. But it still fucking stinks. It definitely still stinks.
Yeah, I mean, not to like put your shit down or anything, but like listening to you like puts me in perspective that like it could have been much worse. You said you loved your magazine. I loved working at Quillen. I loved working the owners. I liked the direction I was headed. I really enjoyed. I literally took over my department. I didn't listen to anybody, and I was like, nope, this is how it's gonna be. This is how it has to be. In order for us to be successful, like we can't be just designers without direction and just doing shit last minute without any like strategy. Like we weren't getting any fucking strategy, so we had to like come up any fucking strategy.
Yeah, who I'm talking about, strategy.
I had to like fucking me and Lauren, my junior designer, like we had to come up with strategy. Shout out Lauren, love you, girl. I haven't been talking to her, but I'll talk to her eventually. I'm just like, usually when I go through something like this, I just like cave in and then I get out. Yeah. So I self reflect. So me and Lauren worked together to bring all our accounts that were like a little bit backed up, and clients weren't like super happy with the design work that was coming out. And it wasn't because of us; it was just because like everything was backed up. And me and my junior designer took the reins, and we fucking like put everything on top. And clients were happy. I left, and all our clients are happy. And I know that Lauren is gonna be great there. But I'm not like you, Pete. Like I was ready to move on. I was already in the process of moving on, and that's why I'm like now listening to you. It's like, yeah, it could have been worse. I could have loved working there, like as a designer, and it would have been really, really hurtful for me not to have my job because, I wanted to be there another 2-3 years. That's not my case. Like I was ready to bounce, and I was ready to move on because as a designer, I knew I gave them too much of my time, and I should have left a couple of years ago. And again, no hate to Quillen. Like I love the owners, great. It's just as a personal design, like as as a designer, I should have left so I could keep growing. But I think I'm still like processing And
that's that's a big thing too. Like, again, we're not counselors, we're not advisors, we're just three designers here that are talking to us here as best friends, but to everyone listening, you should process, do whatever it is that you need to process, and take your time to process, getting fired. Because again, and I'll relate back to it, and I'll say it multiple times again throughout the night, it stings. And I hope that you process it in a very positive way, whether that's working out or hanging out with friends or hiking, or just, I hope that you go through the process in a very enlightened way than a negative way.
yeah,
There's always a good thing. And there's a speech that I listen to very often, at least, I'll say 3 times a month, but there's someone in a hospital wishing that they were in your position right now.
yeah.
And that's the way that I see life too, especially after being a father. It's every day that I wake up and I open my eyes and I can move my legs and move my arms. It's a good fucking day.
And you can play with your kids, man.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it's process it, but don't get stuck there too. That's the next step is don't get stuck. I have a much different mentality and different perspective and different life than Martin does. And the way that I speak to myself is different. After I let my shit, stink for 2 days, and then I told myself to unfuck myself. Hey, you're the head of the family. You ain't got time to fucking cry and
Different
bitch and all this other shit.
Yeah.
Yep, different. Yeah, if it was me by myself, I'd be like, fuck it. I'm not doing shit for a month. I'm gonna chill and just smoke weed and fucking party and just whatever. I don't give a fuck because I'm by myself. But as a family man, after 2 days, I told the wife, hey, I'm good. I got my head clear. Yeah. I gotta unfuck myself. I ain't got time to fucking do this shit. My babies need to eat, and I fucking full steam ahead. And that's how I am, man. I feel like I'm the tip of the spear, and that's just the way that I take on life. But that's me, Martin.
Yeah.
If you want to share your perspective on that.
Well, from my perspective, like I'm not head of household. My wife is a registered nurse. RN, right? No, she's
registered nurse.
Anyways. Yeah. So we are okay. So I'm in a different situation. I don't have to jump and like go get a job right away. We're gonna be fine. So I'm like, I've never been laid off. I've never been without work. I'm gonna take, maybe a month. So by next week, that's gonna be my deadline. I'm processing. My brain's already trying to like
you said that last
get
week.
over there. Yeah, I know. I'm still processing. No, my brain like literally. There's times where like it's like, yo, get your shit, like get on there, and just like my other side, because I feel like I have 2 sides, multiple sides. One's like, yeah, and then the other one's like, no. So I get pulled back and forth. But like
this is okay. Your 2 sides this is your Martin side, and this is your Edo Soy side.
Yeah, and so he's like, come on, bro. You gotta believe in yourself.
Let Edo Soy fucking
take
over, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but the problem, like, the thing is, like, I am human, and I know that if I don't process, and my wife won't let me, bro. My wife will be like, get the fuck out of here. Like, you already processed enough, motherfucker. Get your shit together. Yeah. But if I was in your boat where I was head of household and I have a choice, I'm fucking myself, like, right away. Like, fuck, I ain't got time to process this shit. Like, get your fucking ass up. So I'm already starting to get frustrated at myself for not, like, really being on, So I think, like, another week, and then I'm going to go and do what I got to do. But, like, this is, like,
you hear it here first, ladies and gentlemen. By next podcast, next week, when we shoot the next episode, Martin will already have his resume at least started.
Yeah, well, my resume, I already opened it up today and like added my website on there, so I did something to that.
He just typed in his name on a fucking Word doc. Not even InDesign. He just opened up a Word doc. He's like, Martin Bautista.
I would like to let everybody know, in our last podcast, we had a bet going on, and I believe it was supposed to be a month. I would say it's been about 2 weeks. And skateboard like 5 months or something like that.
Yeah.
No, I mean, you guys are going through stuff. I understand, but where's that skateboard, bro? I'm just kidding.
I have the thing, the board. Yeah,
okay. But you know what? I want to touch on something that Martin was talking about. Martin, you're talking that you said you have time now. You're not in the same situation as Pete. And for, many designers, you might be in the situation. You should focus on those things that we've talked about this in the past. You bought a laser engraver and
Yep.
you've had it for a year and you haven't figured out how to use it. This is that time, it
Yep.
can get you back into the creative space without going back into design. It's just sparking that creativity. It's getting you back into something that you wanted to do, but you put it off because you were working or you were doing
Yeah, I
this
gotta
thing.
hit you up on that too, because I gotta use that shit
Same.
for some stuff. But yeah.
All right,
So-
let's do it.
And
Let me
obviously,
know
it's
when
the
you
same
want
with-
to use
I'll
it.
give you commission. I'll give you commission for that
Yeah.
too. But yeah,
But it's the same with
Oh,
Pete.
if you're
'cause,
gonna make money off it, yeah, for sure.
when the first time when you were looking for a job, I know you were doing your creative stuff and you still are. Even between your creative clients, you're doing stuff for you. And I think every designer needs to do that, regardless of if you've been laid off or if you're still working. You have to keep that creativity going. But if you get laid
Yeah.
off, you ultimately have to do something to keep that creativity going. Because like you said, Pete, if you let off it for too long, it's just the gears get
Yeah,
rusty
no, I
and you
won't.
can't get back into it.
Well, I'm not just
Yeah,
sitting on my butt, not doing stuff. I am doing.
I'm not
work,
saying
and
you
I had to
are.
do my-
I'm just
I did my setup
adding
for
to the
my
conversation.
computer and all that stuff. I've been working on some
Your wall in the
projects.
background looks great. That's new for everybody.
The wall,
You know,
like
he
I
did
put
this
all
whole
my
wall.
posters up. I'm not done with it yet.
Mhm.
I'm gonna put our
he had
logo up
technical
there.
issues. He had the logo up there, and
Yeah.
before we
I had it
started
up,
shooting,
but-
and then it wasn't working. So
It
we had to
pooped
change
and
stuff up. But
So
okay,
yeah,
So-
I have some projects that I've been working on, but next week I'm gonna start. And I think this is where Pete, you lead this one, because like, what do you do when you get laid off or you don't have a job as a designer? What's the first step? What's the next steps? Take some
the
notes,
first step,
guys.
you text your friends and you say, "Meet me at the bar and let's grab a drink."
Cheers. Sorry, I was writing down notes.
When me and Sly got let go from Tropicana, circa 2016, I managed to, because now Tropicana's gone and it's been so many years, but I managed to talk to the head of HR at Tropicana and convince them to close my position, because the situation that me and Sly, when you go from leading the department and having so much fun to, hey, you need to be here before 9 and you need to stay here after 5, you can, kiss the fattest part of my ass on that part. We were hired
Well, also
9 to 5.
they were like, yeah, you don't have any creative freedom anymore. You have to run it up the chain, and whatever they say goes. Versus like when we were at Trop, it was like, hey, this is what we were thinking. Oh, that looks great, but maybe let's add this or take away this thing.
Collab.
But the concept is
Yeah.
great. Versus like the other place that we went, it was like, no, that shit. They had to put their 2 cents in it, and regardless of what you did, if it wasn't what they wanted, you're restarting.
Yeah, and it was one individual, and I
Yeah.
won't say her name, but
No names.
it's going from doing mailers and signage and everything that we did on the property,
Everything, man.
everything we did on the property,
Routine.
to now doing just oblong signs and directional signage and having to get that approved, bro. Remember,
Yeah.
going from fucking tier 1, stacked, meeting with the printer and making these
People
invites.
taking our shit home
Exactly.
after
running
it
all
was
this
done.
running all
Yeah.
this shit, to having to run a 22 by 28 poster with the word restroom and an arrow going like this, having to get that approved. Like, what the fuck, man? Like, that killed me.
Yeah.
Managed to get that position closed, and then me and Sly hit the bar at like 10:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
And
I remember.
Sly goes, "You're buying." I'm like, "Yeah, I know. I'm buying." So, the biggest thing that I always bring back, and I said this before, is that you should have an "I love me" folder, and that is just artwork on your desktop. That you should have an "I love me" folder on your desktop, and everything that goes in that folder is potential portfolio work that you work on. Right? You at least can drag it on there, make a copy of something awesome that you work on. When you're working on something that's pretty cool. You know that, right? invite, banners, whatever it might be that you're working on, whatever position that you're at right now. Excuse me.
Whatever sparks your heart, put it in that
Exactly.
folder.
Yeah. You put it in that folder. It takes 2 seconds to put it on the folder. And at the end of the month, look it over. You know what? Let me clean this up, or this is not done, or let me replace it. But you should always have files of shit that you want in your portfolio. Because again, you never know. You never know when you might get fired. It's happened to me multiple times. Therefore, that happened to me at Mark Savard too. So yeah, this is like the 4th or 5th time I've been fucking let go.
That's why
Either the company's been let go, either closed, my position's been eliminated, or I've been fired. So I prepare, but it's also the army mentality of be ready, right? Zombie apocalypse, be ready. It's you have your fucking to go bag in case the world goes to shit. We learned this from COVID. Shit goes down. Be fucking ready. If in case you have to fucking pop smoke and get out of there, you're ready. You know, I have weapons, I have ammo, I have food, I have all this other shit.
Yeah,
you
crazy how
ready.
Everybody wants weapons, right? When COVID happens,
right?
Everybody's trying to buy guns.
People that don't want guns, and then all of a sudden COVID happens, and they're like, "Hey, you want to sell me a gun?" No, I don't want to sell you one of my guns.
Nobody's working right now. They might jack my shit. They're gonna steal my fucking toilet paper. Hell no.
Okay, but just real quick to add on to what Pete is saying, have that also on an external, because in Martin's case, they took his computer. And, it's a nice company. They might let you pull it off. But they could also be like, this is our property. You can't take anything with you.
It wasn't like that. Yeah.
No, I definitely know it wasn't like that. But any company could do that.
I was like,
yo,
let me come on
files
the
for
weekend.
yourself.
Let me grab my files. They were like, yeah, sure, no problem. But you're right. There's companies out there. I'm like, nope.
Yeah, yep, exactly. And that's why I say, like, have your I love me folder. And whether that be in the end of the week, the end of the month, or the end of the year, just make sure you always have those files that you want for you transferred, and you have them on your own personal devices, because again, you just never know. Now, I always like to kick off the new year with a brand new resume, right? So even if it's the same one, just clean it up. I clean it up with my most up-to-date experience. It's there, everything is there, because again, you just never know, especially if it's a startup. If you are at a startup, money could end tomorrow. So why wait till that time frame? Now, I don't know anyone's financial situation. That could also be different. You could be sitting on 100K in your bank account. You're like, hey, I could take 6 months off. I'm good. All right, perfect. That's awesome. You've been winning at life. But if you don't have anything, like, that's where it does worry. Like, oh shit, I have, $2,000 in fucking savings, and that's about it. Like, I need to fucking find some shit. But at least you're prepared. Hey, your resume is there. As a designer, just like creating a brand for yourself, designing a resume and designing your portfolio is also fucking like stressful, because now you have all this experience. You've done all this fucking shit for clients and social media and video editing, and you know how to manage your team, and you know how to direct photo shoots and fucking task shit out and everything. And then, how do I brand myself? Fuck. How do I represent myself? Fuck. What does my brand identity look like? Fuck. I don't know. I've done all this shit for these other clients. Fuck. What do I like? I like everything. I like Dragon Ball Z. I like cycling. I like rock climbing. I like weightlifting. I like drinking. I like weed. I like drawing. How the fuck does that come into play? Right.
Yeah.
I need to show my portfolio. I need to show my skill set. I need to show my corporate side. I need to show that I could, manage budget, but I don't want to look corporate because I don't want a corporate job. Like, that's where you start fighting that identity crisis, because you are, for me, I call myself a creative handyman, because that's how I feel. I can work on something extremely corporate, and I can work on weed and beer shit, right? Totally fucking different spectrums, but I can do it. Like, if you want motion graphics, if you want fucking 3D stuff, if you want UI UX, hey, I know how to fucking dabble and all that shit.
Or give me an hour and I'll learn it real quick, enough to get me by through the project.
Exactly. Well, more like give me a week, but
depending on the project. But it's like, if you need this thing real quick, I'll figure it out. I'm gonna get this shit done. I'm not gonna just sit on my hands and can't do it.
Exactly. And again, like, that's where I feel is the biggest thing. It's like, what shit, especially for you, Martin, what shit over the last 8 years do I want to put in my portfolio? Do I only go back a year? Do I only go back 3 years? Do I go back my entire time frame that I've been there? You know, how much freelance did you do in that time frame? And do you put that in your portfolio? What do you actually want to do? Like now, when you get fired, it sucks. And after you process it, think about it of starting over. But you have experience. Okay, which azimuth do I want to shoot now? What do I really want to do, right? If you're listening to this and you're a junior designer and you have less than 3 years, fuck it. Just try some other shit. See something that's interesting to you. If you have 5 to 8 years, okay, let me find something that I could bunker down. It also depends on your personality, you know? If I were to get a job, if I were starting, leaving school and I got a job at ESPN, I would never leave that place. I'd stay there. Then I just keep moving up the ranks. Bam, 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 bam. UFC, same thing. I would have been junior, move up the ranks, blah, blah, blah. The Bobby, who was the creative director for UFC, he just got a promotion to VP of creative for UFC.
Dude,
that's fucking awesome. So I don't think he's listening to this, but if he does, hey, congrats, Bobby. It's fucking amazing. And that's amazing, So it also depends. Now here in Vegas, to me, I was like, I kind of want to do everything. Let me dip my toes in agency work, in gaming, casino. What do I like to do? So when you do get fired, it does suck, but now it's also a good way for you to like recalibrate and say, okay, I've been doing X for the last amount of years. What do I want to do now? Do I now want to switch, and be a leader, be an art director, be a creative director, an associate? Do I want to get into the UI UX? Do I want to do video? Do I want to do photography? What is it now that, I know my skill set, I know my value, I know what the fuck I know. How can I implement that into a new company that I know I could potentially be for the next 10, 20 years? Thoughts?
Yeah,
comments,
that's a good
concerns?
one. No, that's a good one. I'm trying to relate it to like
a lot to pack
taking
in now.
Taking
I know I rambled
the
on.
negative
I'm
of,
starting to get a little high, and then I'm drinking my beer. So,
but it's taking the negative of, getting fired, and I'm gonna equate it to, I guess what you call a euphemism. Maybe I'm not correct with this, but you get to look back at the path that you've taken and say, okay, here's where I've come from. Now, where do I want to go? Do I want to go left and go up to creative director, or do I want to go right and go back down to, a senior designer, or if you're moving up, vice versa? What did I like for my job and what didn't I like for my job, and take that and put it into wherever you're going next.
Yeah,
that's what I
think that's
see
where
from,
I'm at right now. I'm like kind of like stuck in the crossroads of like, fuck, what do I want to do? Where do I want to go? Like, I
feel like you want to move up to leadership, man, because the way you talk about working with Lauren and like teaching her, I see the passion and I hear it in your voice when you're talking about that, versus like, oh, I just want to be another designer. No, I see you wanting to like lead a team and like bring people up.
Sly, I recommended a book to you that I was like, oh, you have to read this book, and it's called
it's on my list.
Feel Good. I haven't finished it. I read like 50 pages of it. It's called Feel Good, Productivity, How to Do More. I have it right here. Feel Good, Productivity, How to Do More of What Matters to You, and by Ali Abdaal, and a much needed antidote to hustle culture, right? So reading this book, I realized that I do have that leadership skill to motivate people and to just polish them up and make them shine. Like, honestly, dude, with Lauren, I did not like tell her what to do. It was just more like, hey, let's get together. Let's talk about this project. What are you thinking about it? And she'd be like, I would tell her, like, do you need help, or are you good with it? And she would be like, okay, let me run with it. And she would run with it, and I'd let her complete freedom. Have fun with it. Like, whenever she got stuck, I was like, all right, have fun with it. Have fun with it. Do whatever the hell you want. And then if it doesn't work out, come back and we'll do something different. But 90% of the time, and it's true, when we are having fun as human beings, we create dope shit 90% of the time. Sometimes we'll miss. But with her, oh, I knew her strengths, I knew her weaknesses. Lauren's really good at fun and old school stuff like 70s vibes, and she would get stuck with the corporate stuff, like
Yeah.
the tight, brand guidelines. You have to be super strict, and you have to like high end and all that. That's where she would get stuck. But I knew how to work with her and like help her out to navigate to get from the start to the finish of
Mm-hmm.
most of those projects. But I usually took over those projects because it's weird because at the beginning it'd be like, corporate shit is so fucking boring. But towards the end, it was kind of like a challenge. Like, how could I make this ad look good, following the brand guidelines that are so strict and boring?
Mm-hmm.
And I
It's
think
more
for
like a
younger
puzzle for you at that
designers,
point.
yeah, younger designers, they don't want that shit. They don't want to deal with the boring corporate shit. They want to do the fun stuff, right? They want to do the
Mhm.
boating stuff, the surfing, and all that. So I love doing high end work. So to me, it was a fun challenge. And at first I didn't like it, but I learned to like it. But I think that's where I'm at. I'm at the crossroads of like, holy shit, where do I want to go? I have so many venues, and I think that's what it is. Like, I have so many options that I could go in any direction that I want, and I have so many projects that I want to work on, and I just need to like get through my shit and figure out what I'm gonna do. But I'm also gonna like do the shit I want to do because I need to work on that engraver. I have a couple like side projects that I want to work on, and a couple things I want to do, and this is the perfect timing for me to do that.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
definitely. I mean, right now, when you do lose your job, for whatever reason, as a designer, it sucks because you're like, okay, I got bills to pay. Life still
Mm-hmm.
continues, even though life ends for you there, your life still continues. You still have bills to
Yeah.
pay. You still have
Yeah.
food to eat, all this other shit. Um, so again, this is why it's important, and I really emphasize this, and maybe it is from it is from my personal experience of getting fired in previous jobs, but have that I love me folder of just dragging shit. And I learned that from the army. When I got to the army, when I got from my first duty station, or sorry, when I got to my first unit, my first sergeant was like, hey, make sure that you have an I love me folder. And I was like, well, what is that? And he pulls it out and he goes, these are all the awards, all my forms, all the shit that it's me. Like, this is all my achievement stuff. So if you need to reference it, you know exactly where it's at. So you
Oh,
should
that's
have that on your
awesome.
desktop. You should have that on your desktop, period. When you when you create something that's awesome, a logo, a layout, a web banner, whatever it might be, hey, let me move this
Mm-hmm.
over to my I love me folder. You might not use it, because
Fair.
I've done a shit ton of web banners. I don't have a single web banner on my website. That's not what I
Yeah.
want to do, but I can do it. I've done a shit ton of brochures. I don't promote that on my website because I don't want to do that. So, stuff that I have on my website, stuff that I liked, honestly, stuff that I had fun with. And it's just, I'm trying a different approach with my website now. And also too, as a designer, when you create your portfolio, when you create your website, we get taught these rules: minimal, negative space, one logo per page, align it this way, whatever it is. It's your portfolio. Do it however the fuck you want to do it. Honestly, if you
Yeah.
want multiple pages, do multiple pages. If you want single page, single page. If you promote the shit that you want to work with, promote the shit
Mm-hmm.
that you want to like be out in the world and make a living with. you know I always
Yeah.
wanted to do sports design, and that's what I have on my website is certain covers that are sport related. I got a Raiders one, I got an Aces one, I got LSU versus USC. I have a UFC cover. All the people that you see
Check
on
our
there, I let.
other episode for the UFC stuff.
Yeah, exactly. That's Name Your Layers. That should have dropped next or early before this episode.
It'll drop, yeah, next before this one.
Um, and yeah, just working your stuff, but also break the rules. Know the rules. You have to know the rules of design before you break them. You got to
Mm-hmm.
know, because when you break them, subconsciously or unconsciously, you still follow those rules, but your brain understands it. You might have a organized dismiss, or sorry, a disorganized, chaotic
Mess.
What am I looking for? Mess.
It's called
An organized mess. An organized mess.
organized chaos.
Organized chaos. There we
right?
go. There we go. An organized chaos. And it makes sense to you. And it's like, okay, but if you use your design principles, you could create something fucking awesome and really nice to see. When it comes to creative versus creative, we're always going to critique each other. You're just going to be like, well, the spacing here and how you laid this out and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I didn't make my website for you. I made my website for a freelance person that's going to look at my shit and go, ooh, those are pretty pictures. Oh, that's a pretty cool thing. I want to work with this guy. Oh, that's pretty dope. And it's quick information. It's just like now we're looking at Instagram, at TikTok, where it's like, okay, let me consume as much data as I can within 10 seconds. And then I'm bored and I want to look at something else. So again, have an I Love Me folder. It's not for me. Okay. For me, I've always had a website since school. Till now, my website has always been up. It hasn't always been super squared away, but I had some kind of web presence. I always updated my Behance. I always updated my Dribble. I kept those things active because I paid for them. So why am I paying for something and I'm not utilizing it to what it's supposed to be? Same thing with my resume. The very beginning of the year, no later than March, I would always update my resume. Do I like the
Before
design
taxes.
that I'm at? Well, yeah, exactly.
I said before taxes. I do my portfolio before I do my tax.
Revamp it up. Okay, so here's my resume now. Do I still like it? Do I still have the same style? What have I learned in the last year that I could implement on myself? Because you are still you. Again, if you don't own the company, you should always just kind of have your shit ready, because you never know. The company could also lose funding. For example, Quillen could have not closed your position, Martin, but what if Quillen lost 4 more clients? And then they had to close their shop. They had to close their doors, right? Not because you did anything wrong, not because nothing like that, but it's like, hey, it's over. When I worked with Mark Savard, his accountant was stealing money, and that's why he had to close everyone. All of a sudden, everybody was gone. Except for the 2-stage performance because he had a nightly show, but everybody else was gone, just like that. And it's like, oh shit, man, well that fucking sucks.
Yeah.
Well,
that happened to Brand too. The agency, somebody was sending money from them, so they had to let go of a bunch of people, or a couple people, and they stayed afloat. I think they're still around, but I'm not sure.
I mean, the moral of this is just so always stay prepared. And that's something that, when you're in a cushion job like you were, Martin, and like how I am now, it's not something that you keep at the top of your mind, because you're in a cushion. It's like you said, you're nested and you started taking your nest away, and then you started peeling away those layers. But, when you're there, everything's good.
So I'm assuming that you don't have your shit updated.
None of my stuff is updated. No, I'll be honest with that, you, and I've set aside time and I've worked on it, but I'm not at a place where I could be like, all my shit's squared away. It's like I do the things that Pete is talking about, where I'm like, I'm constantly pulling the stuff that I like, but I'm not doing anything with it. I just have the stuff. It's like good. It's like if I equate it to I'm gonna build something in my backyard. I have all the lumber, I have all the tools and stuff. It's not built though. Nothing is done, but I have everything that I need. So really what I need to do is now at this point, take the steps that Pete is talking about and implement it. Okay, at the beginning of the year, update my resume. Regardless of if I'm going to leave the company, which I'm not going to, I should have that updated in case anything happens, because in the world that we're living in right now, shit's going crazy, and everybody's losing their job left and right to, not everybody, but a lot of the government jobs, they're losing them to Elon Musk doing his thing. And I'm not trying to get political, but he has cut a lot of jobs and he's brought them all back. And there's a lot of things, so you never know what could happen to anybody. So you should always be prepared.
Pete, I lived with Pete, I think 2 years, and constantly was telling me have your shit updated, And then we actually went through COVID together, And that's the last time I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna update my resume. I'm gonna get out of here because they cut my pay like 35%, and I wasn't making any money, and
Yeah.
it really sucked. And I was like, all right, I need to get the fuck out of here. And when I was like, I processed my whole everything and I updated everything, but then I didn't finalize it because then everything got back to normal, and then
Yeah,
my
everything
pay
got better,
back. And I was
you
like, all
know?
right, cool,
Yeah.
we're good. Everything got okay, and it got we got back to where we were at. And I was like, all right, cool. But I should have kept updating my shit, and I should have updated my shit like right away at the beginning of the year because I already knew I was gonna move on and move forward. But now I'm gonna go through that process, and I'm gonna open up my old work, go through all of it, and I already do have my I love folder because I did work on my portfolio in 2021. I just need to go through the new stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go over to this weekend to go pick up some more files, and then the new for the new this last couple of years, because honestly it was a little rough. I just went in there, grabbed my shit, and I got out. I was like,
Yeah.
don't want to process any of this
Yeah,
shit
but
right now.
how are you going to choose the files that you want to put in there? Are you going to take Pete's advice, or are you going to do something for yourself? Like, are you going to tailor it towards whatever job that you're looking for? Do you know what you're looking for right now? I mean, that's another thing that people need to think about as well. Like, what am I really looking for? Going back to what Pete was saying, what's the job market where you're at, and does anything fit into what you want to do?
Well, I don't even
You know?
know, dude. I'm in a position where like I don't know. Like I worked in a job that was pretty chill and pretty lax, and it was great, and it was
Mm-hmm.
pretty fun. But the benefits weren't that great. Didn't have 401k. The insurance was like okay. We only had like 2 weeks off every
Mm-hmm.
year.
But that's all
So now
business
I'm like,
benefits. Like
yeah, but now
you
I'm
had
like, what
personal
kind of
benefits
job?
as well, though.
Yeah, personal benefits was like super lax, and like
Mm-hmm.
everything was like
Bringing your
pretty
dog
pretty
in
good.
whenever you wanted to,
Bringing my
using the,
dog in,
I remember we would do AIGA meetings there, and your boss was like, "Yeah, come and do
yeah,
them, and have
yeah, very
people come," and you would
flexible.
shut down, the business, and that's also a perk. So when you guys are looking for jobs, don't be afraid to be like, well, if I'm not getting this, what can I do for this? And that was some things that were really beneficial for you because we got to have those meetings there, and people recognized your company, and
Yeah,
built a lot of
yeah, but
connections.
now that I'm in my 40s, I have a wife. My insurance didn't cover her. Now I'm
Yeah,
like,
She's a
I'm 40 years
doctor. She can
old.
diagnose
Yeah.
herself.
Just can't, right? But now I'm like, fuck,
like,
I
I got a
want
broken arm.
401k. Like, dude, I don't have a 401k. Like, fuck. And I'm
You don't
40
have
years
one at
old
all, or
at all. So that's the
shit.
thing. It's like, that's the kind of stuff where I'm like, do I just want to get some random design job that's just corporate with really good benefits and fuck with what it is that I'm doing? Like, or do I want to go pursue something that's fun? I don't know yet. So,
Well, that's the big question. Like I said, I always, and I learned this from you, Martin. You got to see things in a positive way, right? Even in a
Yeah.
shitty situation, you got to see things in a positive way. And again, there's someone at the hospital that wishes they were in your position instead of the position they're in.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, okay, you get fired, you process it, you drink, you work out, whatever it is that you do that in a positive way to let that out, because you do have to. No matter which way you look at it, you have to go through all these emotions after you get fired.
5 steps of grief.
And then, okay, what's the next step? You have a fresh start for your career now. Of okay, I learned X amount in this last job. I've always kind of wanted to work for a gaming company or event. Let me look into that, and see, pull your connections. And now it also goes to networking, and it also goes back to AIGA.
Full circle.
The network is a big thing. Having friends in the industry is a big thing because they can toss you shit. Maybe it's now the time to do freelance work, or you don't want to do freelance work. You do want to have a 9 to 5. Okay, where my connections can I fucking utilize to help me in that shit, to at least drop my name on top of the list of 1,000+ people that just applied for one job, As soon as I saw that ESPN job, I applied for it. But I know there's at least 100 other more qualified designers that are ahead of me that are just as strong as me that can do that fucking job. That
Yeah.
maybe ask for less money than me.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well, and that's
that
the thing
that's
with LinkedIn. You never know. Like they could all have 9 to 5s, and you don't have a job. But when you're applying for that, they don't know. Vice versa. They're just looking at it like, hey, this guy looks like he's qualified for the job, and I'm gonna hire him. So you
yeah.
can't have any ill will towards those people that get it over you if
No,
that
Yeah,
happens.
no, for
definitely.
sure.
But like now too, in this part of my career, it's like, okay, I'm a family man now. I'm gonna hit 40 here shortly, and now I want to
Woo
work at a
woo.
place. Woo woo! I want to
Ford
work at a
40.
place where I can be the next 10 years. I'm not looking to jump anymore. I'm looking to say, at least an art director position that I jump into, and I move up to, creative director, move up to VP of creative, move up to executive kind of shit. Because that's how I see it. I want now in my career at this time frame, I want longevity. I want a solid place.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at Mazda. I'm looking at ESPN. I'm looking at
Fortune
a
500
couple.
companies, basically.
Exactly, it's companies that I'm like, okay, I know I could fucking bring a great amount of knowledge. I know
Mm-hmm.
that the brand is very fucking fun to play with. I know I could crush it here. I just need a shot. And I think that in this whole process of applying for jobs, if I could just speak to someone, if I could just speak to a human being, I know I have a shot.
Yeah.
Knowing that your resume goes through AI software 90% of the time, and most of that time the AI software doesn't pick up good shit. It just kind of like does looks for their keywords and then rejects your fucking resume. That sucks. That stings. If I could speak to someone, fuck man, I know I have a shot at it. And so my advice as you're applying, don't just apply and then leave it at that and say, if you want to, that's who you are, all good. If you are looking for a leadership position, and I'm talking to you right now, Martin, reach out to also who you think you would report to. If the job title says, hey, you're going to report to the director of media, hey, find them on LinkedIn, reach out to them and be like, hey,
Mm-hmm.
my name is fucking blah, blah, blah.
Describe that
I,
shit.
I just
Describe that
applied.
shit.
I just applied for this position. Would love to have a conversation to tell you how my skill set matches the position. I could bring X amount of energy and blah 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 and all this other crap. However you want to present it, and you go that extra step. Think
Yeah.
about it, right? Sly, you are a creative director for the Review Journal, and you're hiring for a junior, and a junior reaches out to you on LinkedIn. The only one junior that reaches out to you and says, hey, sir, blah blah blah, I would love to have this. I think you would give him a light of day and be like, well, at least let
Oh
me
yeah.
check out your website. Let me look at your resume real quick.
Yeah. I
You
mean,
know?
anybody that messages me for that, I'm like, oh, you took the time out of your day to reach out to me. I might not reach out that second, but I'm gonna see the email. I'm like, oh, or the
No.
message. I'm be like, hey, I'm gonna check them out when I have the free time. Why not? I
Exactly.
want to see
Yeah.
what they're about.
Yeah. And
No,
honestly,
I
too,
agree with that.
as being on the other side, when you get a response like that, you're like, holy shit. Like, it gives you more fire, right? When I was with
Mm-hmm.
Vegas Prime, I had an artist. I think she was out of Spain or Portugal. I can't remember. Obviously, I don't have access to that email anymore. But she reached out for illustration support for the magazine. Maybe she could do a cover based on her style. And I replied 2 days later because I was able to finally get to it. And I mean, she was beyond stoked that I reached back to her. She's like, this never really works. No one really gets back to me. And I told her, I was like, hey, I don't have anything in my budget right now or in the next lineup in the next 3 months for your style specifically. But if I do come up with something or I think your style would be benefit for it, I'll keep you in touch. I'll have your information and I'll make sure to reach out to you. Now think about that. If you have less than 10 years experience and you hear that shit from someone of a place that you want to work at, you're like, holy fuck, man. Like, that's awesome. They fucking got me. I'm all happy the whole fucking day. Someone got back to me. My shit's on point. Let's fucking rock and roll. And it's just, I forgot where I was going with the whole point of this. I lost my train of thought.
Crash.
What'd you say,
Just
Mark?
be ready. Have your shit ready.
Yeah.
Have your shit ready. Have your resume. Have your portfolio ready. You know, you guys saying you don't have your shit ready, and I understand that when you're a place longevity wise, long time, you kind of forget about it.
Dude, I'm coming up on 10 years.
I just had my experience from my past that it's like, well, I've been fired before. My position has been closed before. The company has closed before, so I need to prepare. But then it also goes back to my Army training of, hey, you always got to be ready just in case, you know, better to be prepared, better to be proactive than reactive kind of thing.
And there's really nothing wrong with being prepared, you know?
Exactly. Right.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Nothing at all. You know, again, you have your resume ready, you have your portfolio ready. Because, and again, to me, even though I love where I was at Vegas Prime, being a family man, and even if I wasn't a family man, if a much higher salary job came across my lap, came across my desk with a much better title, I would definitely keep my eyes open and be like, hey, what's going on? Talk to me about this shit. Do I want to leave where I'm at to go here? Fuck yeah. You know, if we're going from X amount and all of a sudden I'm going to a significant big fucking bonus of like, hey, my salary just almost doubled, I'm going to interview for that position 100%. Oh, yeah. But you're in control of your career. So be in control of your career, you know?
But it's also about managing our resources. And when I say resource, it's about managing your time. Like, you know, we do the podcast, I have the family, I have my work, and then I'm also doing a little bit of freelance with Martin, you know, and there's also other family stuff. There's only so much time I have in the day, and you really have to manage your resources to put your...
I literally have no fucking job, and I sit on front of my computer all day, and I get little shit done, and I'm like, where the fuck is my time going? And I don't have fucking kids.
You message me like, hey, did you do your thing? And I'm like, dude, I'm trying to get this done.
It's fucking crazy. I guess I know I need to get up. I need to go back, because now that I haven't been working, I'm getting up at like 7:30. And today I was like, okay, so that's why I know I'm like getting out of the rut, because already my brain's like, bitch, go back to waking up at 5:30 and going to the gym and starting your day. Because right now I'm like, waking up at like 7:30, and then I'm like, I'll go to the gym on my lunch. Right? Well, I think so. I'm like, my brain's already like pushing back and saying like, nah, you need to get your shit together, because like, no. But
you just got to take a little bit of it, of like what Pete was saying, and just have a little bit of routine in your daily life, even after you get fired. Because if you don't have that routine, then you're just going to spiral out of control.
Well, the good thing for me right now.
Hold on, let me cut you off. Let me cut you off.
Yeah.
Have a routine, okay? Because again, it's like an addict, right? If you all of a sudden, you know, you're smoking cigarettes, and then boom, cold turkey. Yeah, you're gonna fucking fail at that shit. It's hard. It's hard to fucking all of a sudden, hey, I have my Monday to myself, and I have Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday. Especially if you don't have a family, or you don't, or whatever it might be. You're just kind of like, all right, cool. I could sleep in. I can go to the gym whenever. I can
play my video games.
I could get stoned all day.
I'm not playing video games, but I am playing on my phone, and I'm like downloading more games, and I'm like, what am I doing?
But see, your body is already going back to it. Like you said, shit. Your body's already so I'm rejecting it. Get back into your routine.
Quick side step. I started playing. Oh, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying. He's like, I just need to get back into some source of normalcy, you know, like just that little bit of routine, and your body's already telling you that, you know, you've done your little bit. That's all.
I have like backups, right? like I have a backup. So my backup is my brain that will first tell me like, "Yo, what the fuck are you doing?" And if that fails,
At
my
8:30
wife
in the morning.
Yeah.
no, I'm processing right now, but I know that my brain's gonna be like, "Bitch, get the fuck out of here! Like, get your shit together."
Look,
And then my final backup is my
I love your wife,
who's
man.
gonna be
Your wife,
like,
your
"Yo,
wife's
I
amazing.
know.
fuck out of here."
Your wife's
Yeah.
gonna tell you, you go process your fat ass at the gym right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you know what though, dude? I gotta say, like, I gotta like give myself
Yeah, you're
credit.
looking good,
Like,
bro.
that's the one thing that I'm like, I'm going to the gym every
I
fucking
shrunk.
day, fucking like hella fucking like on it.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, cool. I'm happy
Got a
about
little-
that. If it wasn't for that, my shit would be all over the place.
No, I'm fat as fuck right now.
But not to wrap it up, but to kind of wrap it up, guys, here's my advice for you guys. Like,
Okay. Let's hear this advice.
you have to believe in yourself, dude. If like you don't believe in yourself, then you're not gonna be very successful. So it doesn't even matter if you're stuck in some place where you're like, fuck, blah, 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 blah. Believe in yourself. You are the person in your world that crafts your path. And if you don't know where you're going, then you're not going to get anywhere. That's kind of where I'm at right now. But I do believe in myself and I do know that I'm going to go somewhere. But, you know, sometimes we fall into holes and we get stuck, but we could always get out, you know.
You always
And
have
that's my
friends
advice.
to help pull you out of that.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Use your resources, friends and family. Like, these guys are awesome. They're the first ones I talked to when, you know, I got laid off. Same thing with Pete. He let us know right away. I called him up right away.
It would be the
And I
same
was
thing
up
for
and,
me
like-
if that happened. These two would
Yeah,
be the
and
first
right
people
away,
I
what did I
talked
tell
to.
Pete? I told Pete right away. I was like, bro, you did not fucking lose that job because of you. You just, you know, shit happened. You're a fucking great fucking designer. You're fucking amazing. I look up to you, like, blah, 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 right? Same thing with these guys. They called me up and talked to me and they were like, yo, blah, blah, blah. So, you know, always have use the resources around you to help you up. And yeah, that's it.
Mm-hmm. Pete, your advice?
My advice.
Oh, he froze out a little bit.
Oh, am I still
No,
here?
you're good now. You're good now.
Okay. All right. So my advice would be, stay prepared, process your shit, don't get stuck there. All right.
Yeah.
It could always be much worse than what it is. And I can only speak for graphic designers. If this is your industry and you're listening to us, I don't know how it is to work construction or work in the medical field. I know how it is to be a veteran and be in combat, but that's not this podcast. You know, we're talking specifically to designers. Our job
It's scary
is
out there,
super.
dude.
Our job is super fun, super fun. We get to work on amazing stuff that people just see out in their everyday lives and don't mind it. They're just like, they'll call out bad design, but good design they'll ignore it. And
They'll also
don't stop-
remember bad design.
that too,
you know,
but
you
don't
can use
forget
it.
to have fun. Don't get stuck. Use your resources. Put yourself out there of like what you want to do. Get feedback from your friends on a professional level too. You know, these guys, I'll send them stuff and I'll have them critique. And there's stuff, well, I'll tell them, I'll be like, hey, I don't want feedback. I just want to show you guys like what I'm working on. And I still get feedback because that's who we are. That's our friendship. And, you know, for example, I updated my website and I sent it to Martin. Martin's like, the copy doesn't make sense, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, that's how I want to present it. So it's perfect to me. Like, I'm just showing you like what I have. So know how to represent yourself, but it's okay to ask for help. And you should look at, you know, put your portfolio together and hand it out to your friends that you trust and that you look up to and ask for honest feedback. But process your shit. There is plenty of jobs out there for designers. If you're good, if you suck, work on your shit, honestly. Because no one's going to hire a shitty designer with AI right behind your ass. A junior
And if your
with
friends
decent
are
talent.
really your friends, they're going to tell you suck because Pete and Martin and myself, if something sucks and we send it to each other and it sucks, we are the first to call it out. And we're also the first to be like, this shit's fucking awesome. So, you know, if they're really your friends, they're going to tell you it's bad or they're going to tell you it's good.
Exactly.
Bro, you're not a fucking artist don't fucking be an artist. Don't have that artist
a
mentality.
fine artist. A fine
You're
artist.
not a fine artist.
You're
Yeah.
not a fine artist, okay? So people could tell you straight up, like, this sucks. As a graphic designer, you could do better. That's what they're telling you. They're just literally telling you, you could do better. I have higher expectations of you. That's literally what they're telling you. There is some designers that really, really suck, though, but usually most designers
No, there is. Yeah. No, there's shitty designers out there. And you're like, what the fuck? But yeah, you know, keep your portfolio up to date. Ask friends for help, network, keep your head up, process your shit, lift heavy weights, eat mad food, drink whiskey, and everything will be fine. Every day you wake up above ground is a great day. So just keep pushing forward. I know it's tough out there, but evolve as an artist, because there's so many tools that come out there. But you know, learn the techniques that are out there right now, and you know, pick a path that you think you'll be really happy, and go for it. Fuck it, just that's your goal. Run towards that goal, and eventually you'll hit it. So not all campfires start on the first spark. So just keep going.
Yeah, you a lot of times you just gotta get shit done, man. Like a lot of times it's all in your head. Like it's like, oh, I gotta do all this. And you're like, oh no, you just get shit done, and it'll get you in the closer, like, and then to the next step.
Mm-hmm. So if I'm gonna give any advice, I would say, you know, if you took anything from this, I would say, you know, take your time and find your creative passion again. You know, it's gonna suck in the beginning, but take like a week, like Martin's doing. Take a couple days, like Pete is doing. But find that creativity within you again, whether it be, you know, designing more stuff, or like Martin, you have creative stuff that you wanted to do and you haven't done them.
Yeah.
You have the time now. Do it. Like, figure out that laser engraver. And while you're doing that, you can add that to your resume. Like, hey, I've figured out how to do this stuff on a laser engraver. If you want to do that in your future, like, I can do that for your company. I know how to set this up and be able to export that for X, Y, and Z. So, you know, anything that you've been putting off, dude. Have fun. But
just have fun.
But do
man.
that stuff.
Whenever
too.
we have fun, is especially us as designers and creatives and like artists, like, have fun with your shit. That's when we create really, really dope shit.
Yeah.
Awesome. Again, don't forget to subscribe, comment, follow us on Instagram at RoomTwoFifty. The Tiki Talkie that we never post on at the RoomTwoFifty podcast. On
they
here,
took it away from us.
If it's still a thing, hit the bell for notifications. We've gone from 30 or 29 subscribers to 35. So thank you so much for that.
If you made it here, leave us a comment with what kind of emoji? What emoji would you use? Eggplant? Eggplants all day.
You just got
fucked. Yeah, whatever
Fire
emoji
emojis?
you would use, an emoji you would describe as getting fired if you made it to this part.
Yeah. And I'm working on some hats, so I'm trying to do that giveaway soon.
Son.
But leave us a comment, let us know what you think. Enjoy the shorts, follow us on Instagram. Thank you very much for listening, and good luck, designers.